going on, Jerome's first preseason game for the Minnesota Vikings is in the books for 2022, and there were some risers and there were some fallers. A lot of changes going on in our 53-man rooster and practice squad projection, so let's dive on in. So now, players in gray making the 53, players in blue making the practice squad, players in red cut, as well as players in yellow physically unable to perform list. So pup lists start the season. We got 25 offense, 25 defense, 3 specialists, as well as 16 on special teams. Let's dive on in. Quarterback Kirk Cousins, for now, until Kellen Mond has a really good second preseason game against the Niners, baby. But I do think it's clear Kellen Mond really rose up, is going to be QB2 of the Vikings. Now, he does need a lot of work still. There's a lot of things to work out, throwing with anticipation. He needs to iron out some of his mechanics, especially footwork, etc. But the ceiling is there. It's a lot higher than Sean Mannion's. And I do think that they'll keep Mannion in the sphere, in that I don't think that a team is going to come in and scoop up Sean Mannion. So maybe they have him on the practice squad. Maybe they just have him as a couch free agent. Now, also what happens is that teams, even before the 16-player practice squad, back when it was 10 or 12, is that they would have, or so now 16 players on, but they would constantly cut one, sign another one to the practice squad the following week. So essentially you would have 17 players on your practice squad in the sphere of influence. So maybe they do that with Mannion. Who knows? Running back wise, you got 4. Dalvin, Madison for now, King Kene and Wangu, as well as Ty Chandler, who really stood up and stood out in the Raiders game, both as a running back as well as on special teams. Brian Kobach, my guy, the pride of Toledo, had a little bit of a rough preseason game, but hopefully he can bounce back. I think that he's still going to make the practice squad, and I do think that maybe in a year, this depth chart looks like this. Maybe. CJ Ham, best fullback in the league. Jake Vargas, we've constantly had him on the practice squad, but I don't know. The Vikings do seem to be going to a lot more lighter personnel, a lot more 11 personnel, etc. And I mean, you saw there wasn't it was CJ Ham not playing in the game. There wasn't really a ton of fullback looks in the new Vikings offense. It just sort of is what it is. Wide receiver wise, keeping a lot of them because that's the future, man. Jefferson, Thielen, KJ. You got ISM, who showed up really nicely, showed off his explosiveness, especially on that kick return that got called back. I think that he's clearly wide receiver 4. I think Tristan Jackson really did himself a lot of favors. Maybe he secures that wide receiver 5 spot. And wide receiver 6, sort of up in the air. Now, does Jalen Naylor win the punt return job? I don't know. Could you see Myra Mitchell on the 53? Could you see BC or Albert Wilson on the 53? Sure. Now, think about it. So I got Mitchell and BC and Albert Wilson making the practice squad over Dan Chisena, over Thomas Hennigan, Blake Prohl on the pup list. Now, Chisena, he re-aggravated his lower leg injury. And also, I think that he's improved as a receiver. Is it enough to make the team? I don't know, because wide receivers 5 through 12 on this team are really competitive. And also, I mean, Chisena has this reputation for being a great punt gunner, but he doesn't make many tackles. Like, he's really good at being the first to the play and the ball carrier, but just whiffing is what it is. But yeah, you could tell me that Naylor's on the practice squad and Mitchell's on the 53, or maybe even Burt Wilson sneaks on there, especially if Burt maybe makes some headway in the punt return job. Who knows? Tight end wise, Irv Smith, hopefully he's going to be ready for week 1. I think Johnny Munt and Zach Davidson will be our other roster ones. Ben Ellison did really well yesterday against the Raiders, especially in run blocking, so he's on the practice squad. And then you got Nick Muse, the 7th-round pick out of South Carolina, as well as Sean Byer, no go. Maybe Muse ends up on the practice squad. Maybe. Offensive line. So we got some shakeups here. So left to right, starting, again, this is my prediction, Darisaw, Ezra, Bradbury, Ed Ingram, and then Brian O'Neill. Now, I do think that Oli Udoh could stick around. Like, he played decent against the Raiders. I think that maybe he'll be on the practice squad, maybe not. Vidarian Lowe, the Project Day 3 selection coming out of Illinois, looked decent in his first action with the threes. Kyle Hinton, my guy, really stepping up, getting some run with the twos. I think that he'll be a practice squad candidate. Austin Schlattman played well as the second-team center yesterday. Chris Reed sat out against the Raiders, but I think that he's going to make the roster. Jesse Davis supplanted. You're paying $3 million for a backup, but it is what it is. Ed Ingram is that good. And then Blake Brandel, who after a penalty early on, I think settled in and played a pretty nice game. They got, unfortunately, so Wyatt Davis, Josh Sokol, as well as Timon Paris do not make the team. Like Davis stuck with the threes, gave up a sack from Mannion yesterday. He got fooled on a stunt. Happens, man. Defensive line, so you got your three starters, Diesel, Dalvin, Harrison, Phillips, Armand for Watts. Your backups, so you got Bullard, you got T.Y. McGill, as well as Twyman playing some 5-tech as well as 3-tech when they go with 4 defensive linemen, or 2 defensive linemen in their 2-4-5 nickel. James Lynch and Osaze on the practice squad. T.J. Smith, as well as Julian Taylor and Tyrese Stevenson, no go. Now, T.Y. McGill is a guy who really helped himself on Sunday. Overall, he's had a pretty good camp, a quiet camp, but blew up with 2 sacks. Yeah, love to see it, man. Especially a veteran guy who's been around the block and finally getting his chance. Go ahead. Edge rusher, Daniil Zadarius, Patrick Jones II, who did himself some big favors on Sunday. DJ Wanham looking good as well. Zach McLeod, baby, that's your 5. I think Janaris Robinson has too much potential not to put on the practice squad. Same thing with Andre Mincy coming over from the Broncos. Luigi Villain. It happens, man. Linebacker, off-ball linebacker. You got Kendricks and Hicks. Jordan Hicks had himself a nice game on Sunday, too. And they got Asamoah. Speaking of good games, Troy Dye did not play well, but I don't understand it. But this new regime seems to be tied to him, even though they didn't draft Troy Dye, whatever. Blake Lynch hopefully makes a practice squad, and then I think they part ways with Chaz Surratt, last year's 3rd-round pick, another one that didn't pan out. Kwenku's been my guy, except he hasn't really progressed up the depth chart the way I liked, and Ryan Connolly is on the pup. Then, cornerback-wise, so you got Patrick Peterson, Cameron Dantzler, and Shondon Sullivan for now in the slot. I don't know if that holds up because Shondon has not looked good. We'll see. Booth Jr. on the outside. Booth got humbled a little bit in the preseason game. It is what it is. Caleb Evans, the rookie 4th-round pick. And then I think Chris Boyd makes the roster. Then on the practice squad, you got Harrison Hand and Perry Nickerson. Now, you could convince me that Harrison makes it. Possibly. We'll see. Harrison and Ty Smith, no go in this projection. Safety-wise, Harrison, Bynum, Lewis C., and Josh Metellus. Now, initially, we haven't had a practice squad safety, but I think Miles Dorn showed enough where he's looking pretty good. I think he'll sneak onto that 16. Mike Brown, no go. And then Ryan Wright, the backup punter, no go there. So our practice squad, I double-checked. I think we got this one right. So we got 8 and 8, 8 offense, 8 defense. You got running back Kobach. You got 3 wide receivers, Mitchell, BC, and Burt Wilson. Tight end Ben Ellison. 3 offensive linemen, Oli Udoh, Vidarian Lowe, as well as Kyle Hinton. 2 defensive linemen, Usaze and James Lynch. Janaris Robinson, Andre Mincy. The edge rushers, Blake Lynch, the linebacker, Harrison Hand, Perry Nickerson, the cornerback, as well as Miles Dorn, the safety. So that's it. That's our updated Vikings 53-man rooster projection, as well as practice squad projection after the first preseason game is done. Remember, on Tuesday, they have to cut 5. They have to trim down from 90 to 85. Maybe they'll start announcing cuts as soon as today, but we shall see. But your thoughts on our thoughts. Post first preseason game, roster projection, nailed it. Let us know in the comments section below. Subscribe for daily Vikings takes. Want to support the work, put a little something in the Venmo. But till next time, Skol, production value.